evening and welcome to Meticulous Moments. My name is Juanita Kapp. You can reach me at meticulousmacarons@gmail.com or find me on LinkedIn. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the globe, I've had the wonderful privilege to meet a wide array of fantastic individuals. These individuals have truly touched my life in so many positive ways. Amongst this group of people, there are authors, public speakers, life coaches, poets, leaders, and visionaries. They are the unsung heroes of our time. Therefore, I decided to start the Meticulous Moments movement out of a sense of my gratitude. It is my way of giving back to the community. Let us share and reshare their stories in an effort to build a better society. Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Meticulous Moments podcast, where we facilitate community upliftment through leadership development. And today, we have the wonderful privilege of spending time with the amazing David Vrablik. A little bit more about David. The mind and soul behind New Beginnings. David's story has not only impacted his friends and family, but it's the inspiration behind his stage presence. Growing from the pain of David's loss, he takes a stand to make his authentic self known to the world, to show that it's not only attainable, but right within your grasp. David Vrablik is simply phenomenal. I had such a heartfelt session with him. We spoke about his loss when his brother passed away. We spoke about how he really overcame all these trials and tribulations in his life, how he ended up where he is today, how he's just scaled, how he's impacting lives. This is a noteworthy interview. Sit back and relax and let us learn and grow together. And with that, we welcome our special guest, David Vrablik. Good evening, Meticulous Moments audience. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another enlivening session here at the Meticulous Moments podcast, where we facilitate community upliftment through leadership development. And this evening, we have the wonderful privilege of spending time with the amazing David Vrablik. How do you say that? Vrablik.
You were close. It's Vrablik.
Vrablik.
You were
Welcome,
close.
David. How are you?
I am fantastic, Juanita. Thank you so much for bringing me on tonight. This is an incredible opportunity, so I'm really looking forward to it.
I love it. I love it. And thank you so much for making time for us. I know you are extremely busy, but I also know you are going to add so much value to the Meticulous Moments podcast. Now, you and we've met on Emilia and Daniela's AMA show. We've spoken on Messenger and email, and we had a good chat now before we started. I feel like I know you, but for the audience members who do not know you, have not been acquainted with you, would you just introduce yourself, please?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody. My name is Dave Vrablik. I'm the founder and president of New Beginnings Motivation, LLC, here in the beautiful Denver, Colorado area. I have to give a shout out, though, to my business partner and his beautiful wife, Nathan and Maura Franks. If it weren't for those two beautiful individuals making me look good behind the scenes, it would be a very big challenge to do what we do. But we are super excited to be here with you tonight. And what we do at New Beginnings Motivation is we give the tools and the blueprint for you to be able to begin again. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this guy that you barely know how to begin again, right? You know, it takes a lot to be able to trust someone to put that investment into them. But I know from a personal experience back on April 19th of 2018, when I got the phone call that my older brother passed away at the age of 39. He was my best friend. He still is my best friend. He and I talk every single day. Whenever I decide something that I want to bring up to my team at New Beginnings, I say, hey, Joe, what do you think about this? What do you think? Because the business, New Beginnings Motivation, was founded in his memory. Mm-hmm. Joe was a 14-time Ironman finisher. And I don't know if you know that race, but that's a 2.4 mile swim. It's a 112-mile bike ride and a 26.2-mile run, all included into one day. And Joe was the type of guy that when someone told him that he couldn't do something, He just smiled and looked back at him and said, "Don't tell me that I can't." It just pushed him to want to work even harder. And the day that I got that phone call that we lost him, it broke me. It broke me to the point that I didn't think I was going to be able to carry on with my own legacy, because the one man that I could lean on was no longer here. But I remember in that moment when I got the call and I was walking down the stairs to go meet with my wife at the time and my sister-in-law, I hit the ground in tears, bawling my eyes out, screaming, wailing, saying words that I will not repeat because I don't like cussing in front of ladies. But I remember all of a sudden I get this surge of energy that rushed through me, and it felt like my brother was behind me picking me up. And as the months went on, that's when I founded New Beginnings Motivation. That's when I brought Nathan and Maura on board. That moment in my life forced me to realize that I wasn't living my true, authentic life. I was living a lie. I wasn't living to my top potential. I was living to the expectations of those who were in my life to say I needed to live my life a certain way. I needed to act a certain way. I needed to not really show my enthusiasm, because if you know me, like Juanita and Emilio and everybody, I'm a big kid. I'm going to be 40 in 6 months, but 40 is the new 20.
Amen, brother.
Yes, ma'am. And, I'm at the point now that my brother was at the age when he died. And I'm not going to lie, folks. I've been terrified of 39. And by the grace of God, with our amazing support system, with Nathan and Maura, with Michael and the Unleash You Now family, Emilio and Daniela, Jesse Cruz and Desiree Cruz, life is just, it's exciting. And when I got up from that moment, the worst thing in my life was losing Joe. I'm divorced. I've had cancer. I've had a massive head injury that should have claimed my life back in March, but it didn't. But if I can survive the passing of my brother, I can survive anything that life is going to try to throw my way. The choice is, are you going to get knocked down, but are you going to stay down? But are you going to get back up? And that's what we do at New Beginnings Motivation. We have virtual events that we do, that we just did one back in November that Emilio was a part of. And the exciting part was Daniela spoke when I didn't even know she was going to speak. So she got to step in, and I had we had 25 incredible speakers, and Daniela was a last minute addition, and it was phenomenal. And we do live events about every 3 to 4 months. We're going to try to ramp that up to every couple months, but it's about beginning again, trusting your inner voice, trusting your authentic self. Because if the only person that can tell you that you can't do something, it's not your brother, sister, mom, dad, grandparents, husband, wife, it's you. So that's what we do. That's why the business was founded. And that's what I love whenever I get to hang out with incredible people like Juanita.
Thank you, David. I mean, my goodness, just hearing that backstory, feeling that energy, feeling that excitement that you have. I mean, it's just the words I said to you before we started this, when I hear the name New Beginnings, it brings a certain feeling in my spirit. It's refreshing, it's new, it's hopeful, just those 2 words. And I see in your life that you carry that energy wherever you go. And I see that leadership. And, from the first time that we've met online and that we were in the Alma show together, I was just captivated by your story, the courage that you have to share, with which you share your story, and the way that you took that tragedy and how you really made it something positive, not just for yourself, but for everyone that you meet. Now, the leadership journey that you are on, where did that start? Where in your life did that leadership journey start?
To be fully honest with you, Juanita, that was, my brother passed in April 19th of 2018. And the way that I dealt with his death was overeating. And I had to go to a eating recovery center here in Denver. Because I had found out that I had a binge eating disorder because I overate, because that's how I dealt with my emotions. And I got to say, I was in that program 7 days a week from like 9 to 7 o'clock at night, Monday through Sunday. And my beautiful wife at that time, she was so patient she took care of everything back at home. But I remember it was one day I was sitting in the recovery room with the people that I was in there with. And I remember walking in there thinking to myself, what are these kids going to teach me? because the oldest one was 22 years old and I was 35. I was in a different aspect of life, right? And I remember it humbled me and it forced me to sit down and listen, to open up my ears and reopen my heart. Because when Joe died, my heart got closed off because I was afraid I was going to lose, somebody else in my life. And I've lost people as the years have gone on. I'm now divorced, which I miss my ex-wife, but I know she's happy and I'm glad for her. Friends have bailed on me, but that leadership moment came when New Beginnings was born within my brain. I knew that Joe's story and his legacy needed to be heard. I knew I could intertwine that with New Beginnings motivation. And when it forced me to really look through my entire life from a very young age of having open heart surgery at the age of 16 months, having to beat that and having doctors tell my parents and tell me that I was never going to succeed at anything, it was that underdog mindset that just flooded my brain. And even though I didn't know what the terminology was back in 2018, it was that moment one night when I was sitting in the corner listening. And I knew that the message that I have, not only with my brothers, but the story that I have, that I could intertwine the two of becoming fearless, becoming aware, trusting my inner voice, having trust in others to be able to hit the ground running with the business. And it created that sense of hope back within my life. And that was the moment when I'm like, okay, all those people said I was going to fail. What did Joe say when people said he couldn't be an Ironman? They said he couldn't be a one-time Ironman, but he was a 14-time.
Wow.
And that was the moment when I realized his legacy is teaching me that it's time to take a leadership role in my family, leadership role in my personal life with myself, my spiritual life, my fitness, the business, the professional life. And that's when I hit the ground running, and we've been running ever since.
And he really ignited that flame in your heart to show you that you are also able to do whatever you put your mind to. Because my very next question was, how your brother played a significant role? And I can see that transpiring. Yeah.
It's, I've always had a really good family. I have a phenomenal mom and dad that raised us, to be proper gentlemen. And teach us about life. What they didn't know was they created two Disney monsters. Joe and I loved going to Disney World. We loved Disney movies. My ex-wife and I, we used to go all the time. But I think the biggest thing was he was always my biggest fan. Wow. He was always cheering me on. Like when I tried to take my own life back in 2007 because I was lost, I was broken. The first person that came to the hospital, because obviously my parents were out of town visiting my dad's mom, but it was him. And he didn't leave until 10 o'clock that night. He got there at 6 and didn't leave till 10 o'clock. He made sure people that were going to bring me down were not allowed into the room. And that level of love, that level of protection taught me what it really meant to be a man, what it meant to be a fierce man that will protect anybody that's close to us, anybody that's associated with me personally, professionally, will always be there no matter what. And there, I was excited that I announced back last month, but I had a custom song that was written on behalf of my brother. I wrote the lyrics out and I sent these lyrics to this musician, and he wrote a beautiful, beautiful song that I shared with the community back last month. But his legacy and just his love and his compassion, he would drop anything for a complete stranger. Mm-hmm. And that's what so much our world needs. And that's what taught me that the judgmental side of me that I used to have about 5 years ago. Yeah. I said, okay, let's put you on a box and let's put you up in the Rocky Mountains at the top of Mount Evans. It's one of our hiking trails here. And that's, and he's still, the thing is, even though he's not here, he's still impacting my life every single day.
His legacy lives on in you.
Yep.
That loyalty that he showed you, I just see these two brothers just loving on each other, being noble, loyal to each other, and just rising up and lifting each other up. And that is a beautiful memory to hold on to. And his memory really lives on in you through your new beginnings, through the person that this has shaped you to become. And I'm sure he is smiling so brightly, knowing that he had that positive impact on you.
Oh, I can feel it every single day. You know, there are sometimes I ask a friend, you know, Michael Fair, I'm like, I really hope I'm making my brother proud. And Michael just stops and gives me that look like, dude, you know, you're making him proud. And,
Beautiful.
you know, that's what it's about, because the biggest thing is, Juanita, you know, about beginning again, that we all have the divine right to begin again, is that we're not guaranteed tomorrow. And
True.
how are you going to choose to live your life? Are you going to choose to live your life sitting on the sidelines in the darkness and with nobody around you, and be bitter and be angry with the world and people in your life that you love and care about? But are you going to get back into the game? Are you going to get back in and grab that old pigskin, as we call it here in the U.S.? It's the football, because I'm a massive football fan, even though the Denver Broncos aren't that great this year. But are you going to get back in? Are you going to take the hits? Because life's going to try to hit you. But here's the thing, there's an inner strength within inside of all of us that is so incredibly powerful that once you align your heart, soul, and mind, nothing's going to stop you. You're going to become unbreakable. You're going to become unshakable. And that's why it's so important that you live every single day as a gift, as a treasure, as a privilege, and don't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Joe shouldn't have died at 39. He was in great shape.
Yes.
I was the heart patient.
Yes.
I was the one that had a ton of medical health issues, and I still do today, but I'm still going.
Yeah.
And his life was cut short by one little thing. So how are you going to live your life? Are you going to live your life in fear? Or are you going to get back on into the field and launch that football as far as you can and keep taking those hits?
Amen. Amen. We roll with the punches, David. We are going to open our eyes every morning and say, wow, how much better can this day get? I'm like that. I'm a morning person. So when I wake up, I'm like, I see the wonder in everything. Oh, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. And what am I going to do today? And we should really just, you know, take every day like that and see it as an adventure. I love what you said. How are you going to spend today? And what are you going to do, you know, to make the world a better place? Absolutely. I love your views. And I know that when we suffer loss, and when we lose a loved one, and when we grieve, sometimes our views change drastically. How has your brother's passing, and maybe just tell the audience, you know, that maybe tune in a little bit late, or they don't know how your brother passed, what happened. How did that change you?
It forced me to realize that I wasn't living my life to the fullest. It forced me to realize that there were some certain aspects of my life that needed to change. For example, being judgmental. Back in the day, you know, if I saw somebody, you know, not struggling, but wearing something inappropriate or something like that, I would make a comment. Nowadays, when I see somebody, I smile and I'm like, yeah, you go. You're wearing what makes you happy. Everybody gives me a hard time because I always wear T-shirts and basketball shorts. And I live in Denver, Colorado. And a couple of weeks ago, it was 5 degrees at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And here I am walking around in my shorts and my basketball shorts. But it's what makes me happy. It makes me comfortable. I'm not against the throwing on a suit when I go to a dinner party with my family back east. I don't mind that. But I'm more comfortable and I know the true me. And what I realized was I wasn't taking care of myself. I was focusing on others after his death. I was focusing on my sister-in-law, his widow. I was focusing on my ex-wife. I was focusing on my parents, which they needed my focus because I became the rock. Because I was the one that had to tell our parents that Joe died when they were on vacation. I still hear the screams from my mom saying, not my baby, not my baby. My dad pacing around the house down in St. Croix going, no, no, no. And what I realized after about 3 months, I was eating unhealthily. I was going all out. I was ordering everything, eating 4 sandwiches from Burger King. And it forced me to stop and go, I'm 35 years old. I mean, that's young, right? And I'm still young. We all are. But I'm 35 years old with a heart condition. And my brother just passed away from an aortic dissection, which is genetic. And they're not as concerned about it as with me because of my heart condition from years ago. My wall is a little bit more protected because of the scar tissue, but there's still a chance that could happen to me. And when I realized that I wasn't taking care of myself like he was taking care of himself to be in his peak performance, to be able to compete in the Ironman, it was like a 2x4 between my eyes. And that's when I decided I need to go to the Eating Recovery Center. If I die at 39, that's my time. But I'm going to do whatever it takes to make myself as healthy as possible. That I know at the end of the day, when my number is called to go back up to heaven, that I did everything possible to keep myself healthy.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it for my parents. I didn't do it for my sister-in-law. I did it for my wife because my wife was my best friend and she still is. I don't talk to her, but I still care about her and love her. But I have my beautiful little adopted niece, Nathan's beautiful daughter, Rose. She's 2.5, going to be 3. I want to see her get married. I want to see her having kids. I have my godson up in Greeley, Colorado with his younger brother, who are my 2 adopted nephews. I want to see them grow up. I've got 2 other adopted nephews up in Des Moines, Iowa. So if I sit back and I keep putting the food in my mouth and I'm breaking my body down and I'm hurting my heart and I pass away and I'm angry with myself, who's the only person that can be mad is me because I'm going to miss out on all those things. My cousin's 3 beautiful kids, Ella, Alden, and Henry Atticus. I want to see them grow up.
Yeah.
I'm not able to have kids medically. So I want to see all these amazing kids grow up. So in that moment, what he left with me was, David, it's time to get your ass in gear.
Yeah.
Keep pushing forward. Remember that saying, don't tell me I can't. Oh, one of these days I'll get a tattoo somewhere that says, don't tell me I can't.
Oh, I'd love that. That would be amazing.
So,
what a statement. You know, when you speak, what stands out to me is that vulnerability, that courage that you have to share, that authenticity that comes out. You share with the world the good stuff. I always call it the good stuff. We're getting to the good stuff. You share with them what needs to be shared because they need to hear it, because that's how you are being used in this universe to help people along and for them to realize, to sit back and say, wow, I'm on the wrong road. I'm not doing what's beneficial to my body, my soul, and my spirit and my future. I have to think of the people around me that love me and look after myself and fulfill those purposes. So I really feel that grief has taught you a lot of lessons. When we lose someone, grief speaks to us on another level. And there's so many things that you mentioned that stand out after that grieving process, what your brother has really left with you.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Even though I can't give him a physical hug, I know he's living in my heart. And that's how I get through it every single day. And that, if you've lost someone in your life, I lost my grandmother back in December and she was 2 weeks away from her 100th and she lived a beautiful life. And as much as I miss her and I miss my grandfather and I miss my puppy Brandy, who passed away 2 years after Joey did. And then Joey, they're all living in my heart. And that's why I keep pushing forward. So, there's so much negativity and so much toxicity, in our world these days where, I'm sitting here and I'm watching people, as an example, I don't know the guy personally, but Russell Wilson, he's the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Absolutely love the dude because he's a strong Christian. He's a great guy. He's a great human being. And people are tearing him down saying that he's a terrible quarterback. But it's like, he can't do it all on his, what I'm getting at is he can't do it all on his own. That's the importance of a community.
Yes.
Russell and his team.
Oh, yes.
New Beginnings in my team and our communities. Amma in the communities. Unleash You Now. We have so many communities that surround us that I've actually had to push away one community because it was too toxic for us. And I didn't want that to trickle into my people. Because like I said, I'm very protective of those who trust and invest in themselves and also invest in us. And that's why it's so important to just try to look at the positive outlooks of life, even in the darkest of times.
Yeah.
There's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Always.
And keep pushing.
Always. I am so uplifted. I feel so positive to hear this testimony. I feel so blessed to be in your company. I really, you're just an amazing individual. And we want to hear more about New Beginnings. It's so refreshing. It's so wonderful. What is it that you facilitate there? How do you assist people to really move from out of that rut that they find themselves into a new space?
The number one aspect in what we do and who we serve are the down and out underdogs.
Beautiful.
Trusting your inner voice, because people in your life are going to tell you can't do something. People are going to say this is a bad idea. Maybe you shouldn't do it. You should just work a 9-to-5 job. If you can tap into that inner strength and that inner voice and combine the underdog mindset and embrace that underdog mindset, you're going to soar. You're going to blow the barn doors off of the hinges. And one of the things that we teach within New Beginnings, we did this at our last live event, and we did this on our virtual event, but we break down 3 different words, and we break them down in different acronyms, which word for each letter. And we're going to base it off of faith right now. Rebuilding the faith in yourself, rebuilding the faith in others, opening your heart up. And that becomes by becoming fearless. Now, what I'm saying is about fearless. Fear is always going to be a part of your life. That's something that unfortunately we just can't get away from. But when you become fearless and you look at fear straight in the eye and say, don't tell me.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know
Not
me.
today.
Yep. You don't know me. You don't know what I'm capable of. So when you become fearless, move down to the letter A, you're going to become aware of your surroundings. You're going to become aware of toxic people within your life that are going to pull you down. That's going to rebuild that inner voice that it's going to become so freaking loud. It's like you're going to be at a Metallica concert where
Woo. Go both, please. Please put the laptop off. Because I said so, you're going to sleep now. Hey, I think your signal dropped.
Hey, everybody, sorry about that. I had a call coming in from a doctor's. But anyways, when you become aware of the people that are around your life, that's when you're going to become aware about yourself. And that's what's going to rebuild your inner voice. But here's the great thing. When you take the fearless, the awareness, and the inner voice, and you combine those 3, you're going to rebuild your trust in people and yourself. And then at the end of it, H, what do we think H stands for? Hope.
Love it. I was going to say humility, but hope is good.
Yeah, when you think about it, if you're going to live your life in fear, does that have a sense of hope in your life? Or does that create a sense of doubt?
Yeah.
What would you rather live with? A sense of doubt or hope for the future? Excitement for the future? And then later on, we go down into the health. We'll just go really quick off that. H is humbling yourself.
Love it.
Wealth. You got to be, the W stands for willing. Are you willing to take that chance? Are you willing to believe in yourself? Are you willing to jump off that ledge and take that chance. If I didn't do that for myself, I wouldn't be the man I am today. I wouldn't have the community of people around me today. I would have become the shell of the man that I once was, sitting on the couch watching TV, having a glass of scotch every day, and not living my life. You have to be willing to be able to make those changes.
True. Because we can only help people who want to be helped.
Yep.
We can only help people and assist people that really want to make that change. And, it is a personal decision. It takes a certain level of self-awareness to go through all the points that you've just discussed. And we look at your life and everything that you've accomplished and what you stand for. And your life is an open book. And people can see the positive transformation. So that is fantastic. Sometimes we have this idea about something, but with you, you see how it happened. We get to know you because your spirit is open. We see your life. We see the transformation, and that speaks for itself. That is so powerful, David. It's very powerful when people can connect like that.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Now, I would love to know, you're a very strong leader with very strong leadership qualities. What's your favorite leadership quote?
It's not a popular quote. It's a quote that I have from one of my uncles. He always said, "Do you have your parachute packed?"
Oh,
are you ready to take that jump?
Wow.
Are you ready to trust New Beginnings Motivation? Juanita, Emilio, and Daniela, Michael Favor. I can tell you I trust all those guys with my life.
Amen.
But are you willing to take that leap? And the only way you can take that leap is to have that community around you. You also got to have your parachute packed. Because wouldn't you rather come down to the surface of our planet smooth and, landing hopefully on your two legs or on your tuchus? Or do you want to come crashing down? I can tell you, I would rather jump out of a plane with my brothers and sisters with me, with a parachute, looking at our beautiful creation of our earth.
Amen.
So that he's always shared that quote with me for as long as I can remember, and he used to make jokes about it, where my grandmother would pack my grandfather's parachute, and they were going skydiving the day after Thanksgiving. But when I look deeper into it, that's the analogy that I was able to pull out that I just shared with you.
I love that. That's going to stick with me for two reasons. The first reason would be that the practicality of how, you use that quote to bring across the message. I love that. And the second reason is I've gone static line skydiving 3 times, and there's nothing. I think I can only compare riding motorcycles with skydiving, because if you get that same, it's just you and the wind and that same excitement. So I'm an adrenaline junkie. I absolutely love that. So that I'm going to remember that quote, absolutely. And it speaks to the heart. It definitely speaks to the heart. We have to have people that we trust, that we will jump out of planes with. We have to have those because, they share our lives with us. Now, leadership books. What type of leadership books do you read? Because, we want to shape ourselves into leaders like you. So give us some direction. What's good, edifying books that we can read? Or a book.
Well, of course, I got to talk about my man, Mr. Emilio. And now I'm probably going to butcher the book title because I did last time on their live. But it's a spiritual fitness survivor book.
Perfectly said.
Perfect. I looked at it before I came up for this interview, and that is a very powerful book. And just seeing the willingness, the humbleness of Daniela and Emilio is truly a powerful moment. But there are two other books with two of my brothers who, both of them are my coaches. And the first one is Mr. Jesse Cruz with Emerge Worldwide, Losing Faith, Finding Hope.
Ooh,
Jesse and I have the commonality of losing a loved one in our life. And I'm not going to give away the premise of the book. But if you haven't read an empowering book that can help you get to the next level, Losing Faith, Finding Hope by Jesse Cruz is a powerful book. The third one is The Norm by Michael Faber. And
Oh,
I love this
haven't
book
read that
because,
one.
yeah, you got to get in touch with Faber. I mean, this is a incredible, incredible book. And I'm halfway through it right now because I read a couple chapters, then I take a few days to write down what I learned from the 2 chapters and stuff. And then, someday we'll be launching our book with the Alma family, and I'm excited about that. But those are my top 3 right now: the Spiritual Fitness Survivor book, Losing Faith, Finding Hope, and F the Norm. Those, I think you can get all those on Amazon. I don't know about Emilio's book, but I know Jesse and Michael, you can get their books on Amazon. And trust me, folks, if you take that opportunity to read those books, it's going to open your eyes in so many different ways.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Spiritual Fitness Survivor. I know you are going to be chapter 5, and you can explain that to the audience. I'm going to be chapter 7. And then Jesse Cruz, I know Jesse Cruz very well. I actually had a Meticulous Moments interview with him where he discussed what his book is about. Absolutely very sad, very powerful. And then Michael Faber, I mean, he says it like it is. I love that about him. He's an absolute rock star. Would you tell the audience why you chose chapter 5 in the Spiritual Fitness Survivor book?
Yeah, so I think it was about a month ago, Emilio, Danielle, and I made it official. And I asked them, because Emilio and I talked about it back in October, and I didn't act on it until November because I take my time to think about things. But I went with the number 5 because next April 19th will mark the 5 years that we lost my brother. And everything that I do personally, professionally, and what we talk about in our different avenues that we do is connected to my brother. I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for him. And I just the book is launching in June or July of next summer, which I'm really excited about. And that's right around the 5-year mark. And I remember looking at Nathan back in October. I'm like, dude, this is not a coincidence. And that's why I picked chapter 5 for my first published, being an author and a co-author in a book would be, how cool would it be to be able to coordinate it with the 5-year celebration of life of my brother?
Amazing. Wonderful, wonderful way to celebrate. You used that word earlier today, to celebrate your brother's life. To celebrate everything he stood for and what he meant to everyone else, plus you, leaving that legacy in your heart and in your mind. Now, mentorship, very important. Have you had mentors in your life, that has helped you up to this place?
Yeah, there's a few. Looking as far back, Joe is number 1. That's my brother's name. Number 2 would be my Uncle Brian and my Uncle Henry. Both my uncles have been very instrumental in helping me get to the point that I am today. My father has always been one of my biggest cheerleaders. He always pushed me to believe in what I do. Michael Faber with Unleash You Now. The man's heart and soul is incredible. He's doing a thing right now, the art of deep diving, teaching entrepreneurs how to make their businesses profitable and successful. And he and I have the commonality that we lost both our brothers. And the ironic thing is, both our brothers' name is Joey. And we just connected through that. Everybody, Margaret McClure, Alex, Spencer Jones, he's a big one. Nathan Franks, even though I'm 11 years older than him, he teaches me more things than I thought I would ever realize. And then finally, it would be Jesse and Desiree Cruz and Emilio and Daniela to group those guys together. I met Emilio in May at the speaker competition, and I remember the guy who did some sick dance moves. Like, he was on the floor doing the beetle bug, spinning on his back with his legs up, and I just knew I had to get to know that guy. And Jesse and Desiree, when I found out that I was cancer-free, I get this video from them going, "You're cancer-free! Woo!" They're just like my biggest cheerleaders. And those are my mentors. I mean, I know I'm missing others like Jeff Turner, John Dunn. There's so many people in my life, but those are really the ones that have impacted me to be who I am today.
It's so wonderful to see all these amazing people surrounding you, all these people just supporting you, on your journey, cheering you on, like you said, and just being there for you, just going with the flow, just being family, because family comes natural, right?
Yep. I always say, Juanita, family is not always about blood. It's about who you choose to be in your life. And everybody that I listed, I say they're friends, but they're not just friends. They're family, they're brothers, they're sisters. If I'm having a rough day like I did 2 nights ago, I reached out to Michael Faber, and Michael was just talking to me at 1 o'clock in the morning, East Coast, 11 o'clock my time. Yeah. And it was just because I was missing my brother. I was missing my ex-wife, and, my shoulder wasn't feeling great and all this stuff. And we just talked for a half hour. My buddy Nathan Franks, he's the same way. He was blowing up my phone on Sunday because I wasn't having a good day. And when I say blowing up, I appreciate it, because that's the people I want in my life. Because if I go radio silent, it'd be kind of nice to have people reach out to me and make sure that I'm okay. And that's what we say community, but it's more than just community. It's a family.
It's a family, and we are there for each other. You do the same for them if they are in that situation. Yeah.
I would jump on a plane and go to New York if I had to help Desiree and Jesse. I'd jump on a plane and go to Maryland to go help out Emilio and Daniela or Michael and the family. That's just the way I am. And, it's when you have those people in your corner, you're not going to fail. It's going to go back to becoming unbreakable, becoming unshakable. You're not going to waver on your dreams. You're going to keep pushing forward.
Keep pushing forward. And that actually leads me to the next question. What advice would you give to people that want to give up? Because we all have days that we,
Yep.
all have those days.
My biggest advice is don't, because it will get better. Even though it's painful and it hurts. But I'm going to steal a comment from my brother Jesse, because Jesse talks about we all have a story. You have a story that the world needs to hear. And if you don't share that story, you're not only doing a disservice to yourself, but you're doing a disservice to someone that story could impact and change the trajectory of their life. Here's the great thing about writing a book, my friends. If you're not happy with the current chapter of life that you're in, you know what you can do? You can rip those pages out of the book, crumple them up, throw them in a paper shredder, practice your basketball free throw shot, and then you can start your chapter again. You can begin again. You can create your new beginnings. You can become your authentic self. It takes one committed action decision, having faith in yourself, creating unsustainable health and wealth. Because your story is so incredibly powerful. My story helps me to get through my challenges, and it helps those in my community. But my story is not more important than your story. Our stories are similar in line. But are you going to stay on the sidelines? Or are you going to get back in the game and make an impact in a world that needs to hear your story?
Yeah. Beautiful.
You only have one shot. What type of legacy do you want to leave behind for your kids? I met Juanita's son before we went live.
Yeah.
Juanita, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind for your son?
Amen.
Do you want to teach your son that it's okay to give up and sit on the couch watching TV? Or do you want to teach your son to be active and be in the game?
Always.
And I think we can all agree to that.
Yeah.
So don't give up on yourself. Never give up, never quit, never stop. You have the power within yourself. But what I want to stress here, really importantly, is to embrace that pain. Look into it. Surround yourself if you need a counselor or you need a coach, or if you just need a friend to talk to. My brother's death could have broken me.
Yes.
I could have crawled into that corner and stayed in that corner crying and stayed in the dark. But what I decided to do, everybody, was I took that negative pain, And I turned it into a powerful power source for myself so that we can come around you and lift you up so you don't have to feel alone. You can take that negative pain. You can take that decision of wanting to give up, and you can shift it just a micrometer. Dr. McClellan said it best, micro steps. He said that at our last virtual event. If you take the micro steps and become authentic and intentional when you're creating your authentic life, you're going to become unstoppable. One step at a time. Believe in yourself, and we'll be happy to help you along the way.
Absolutely phenomenal advice. I agree with you 100%. 100%. And, it just shines through that everything that you've been through in your life and everything that you're going through now, David, is being used to not only shape your character, but my character, because I'm in contact with you and everybody that we meet. And so we go, we choose our family, like you said, and iron sharpens iron, and we help each other and we assist each other, and we never allow anyone that we walk with to give up. And therefore, we also don't allow ourselves to give up. Never. My favorite song in the whole world is Unstoppable by Sia, because I'll never give in. I'll always march on, and I'll always make sure tomorrow will be a better day than today, because we can't. We cannot give up because the world is watching. They need us.
I agree 100% with you. Like back on Sunday, Juanita, and I share that with you because you just said it. The next day is going to be better than the current day. Mm-hmm. And with how difficult Sunday was and how emotional it was, I forced myself to go to bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, because I knew that if I got a good night's sleep and I refreshed myself and got up the next morning with my two beautiful puppies and taking a hot shower, because I love being in water, I woke up the next morning ready to take on the world. And I messaged that friend of mine, that brother of mine, Michael, and I said, thank you for being there for me. And the one thing that he said, what a true friend will say, is you don't ever have to thank me. I'm always here.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But by going to sleep and skipping out on going to church and dinner with my friends, which, I still wish I didn't do that, but I know I needed to take care of myself, was one of the most self-caring things I could have done. Because, I have the bad habit of go until I hit the ground. And self-care is vital. And that's why your story, going back to what Juanita said, don't give up. Your story's got to be heard. We all have a purpose, and I'm spiritual here. I believe in God. And the one thing I can tell you is God put me on this earth and had me survive in 2007 after the suicide attempt to build me and to prep me for what we went through in 2018. After going through what I went through in 2018 after Joe's death, nothing's going to break me. I'll be emotional about it. I may need to take a day or two, but I'll come back even stronger and even harder. And you have that same power to do that as well. So don't give up.
True. It's all about your mindset. It's all about your mindset. You're only able to be hurt by people if you allow them to hurt you. You're only able to be broken by situations if you allow situations to break you. And the person that's going to watch this interview, they will know, it is the 6th of December. And it's just after I had a meeting with someone where I reiterated those same words, and I said, there's not anything that after everything I've been through that will break me or that will deter me from my path, because I've been to having back, and I lasted. And I hear those same words coming from you.
Absolutely. I've been like, that's what the last year of my life has been like. 9-10 months since I had my accident, and I'm working to get stronger and healthier every single day. And that's why you just got to keep pushing. It's God doesn't give us something that we can't handle. He gives us to test us and to make us even stronger. So how are we going to keep pushing?
Keep pushing. I love it. And I also believe in God, and I proclaim with you that He is good. He is good, and He's kind, and He's faithful to us, and He brought us together. And I said to you earlier, I'm 2 years older than you, so I'm going to be your big sister from now on. I'm very excited about that.
Thank you so much.
David, if you could spend a day with your favorite leader, who would it be and where would you go? It doesn't have to be someone that's still alive. It can be someone that may be past, a historical figure, whoever you would like to choose.
You know, I mentioned earlier that my brother and I were Disney fanatics. And I would love to spend a day with Walt Disney because the vision that man had back in the 40s and 50s to create what we have today that is all over the world. I mean, in Tokyo, Florida, California, Normandy, all over, the vision. I'd love to just spend a day with that man to be able to go, what did you do when people told you that you couldn't do something? What was your driving force?
Yeah.
What kept pushing? I mean, back in those days, who would thought that people would go to celebrate a mouse or a big dog, you know, or a duck?
Yeah.
You know, and I love anything about Disney, but I would love to spend a day with him to see how he built his empire and how it's still changing the world today. And he's been gone since the 60s, maybe 70s. Yeah. I don't remember. But I would love to spend a day with him and just pick his brain and, you know, see how he clicked out, how he lived his life every single day.
Amazing, amazing, wonderful choice. First time I've received that answer, and I have to say that's a very, very good one. It would be indeed a very exciting day to peek into the mind of such a wonderful and extravagant and innovative person. Now, I know you've been likened to a cat because, I mean, it seems like you have 9 lives. Would you like to share that with the audience? I think you're on life number 5.
Yeah. So, one of my good friends, my sister Nicole Benecki, and we had a conversation back in March because I had an accident where I hit the ground and I hit my head, had 3 brain bleeds, had to get through that, tore up my shoulder, found out I had thyroid cancer. And she stopped and looked at me and said, Dave, you're like a cat. How many lives do you think you've burned up until this point? And I remember walking out of a movie theater with Nathan and Maura. I think it was after we saw the new Thor movie. And I was thinking of this question when I was with them. And I remember looking up at this guy like this going, and I do this with my beard. I don't know why I do this because it doesn't help thinking, but it makes me look sophisticated. But I remember looking up at the sky thinking, I think I'm on life number 5 right now. And Nathan and Maura and Nicole looked at me. Nicole was Zoom because she lives in Chicago. And Nathan and Maura and I live here in Colorado, and they all said, knock it off. You only got 4 lives left. I'm like, I got it. I'll be more careful. Yeah. I got it. So that's why I tell everybody with everything that's happened up till now, I'm like, I'm trying to get everything done before I'm 40 because I turned 40 in April. So after 40, everything is smooth sailing.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That will stay with me. And I know you've got amazing events coming up. Yes, I would love to know about that, and also how people can join your group, that specific New Beginnings group, and $97 a month. Would you elaborate on that for the audience, please?
Absolutely. So we'll go off of the events that we got coming up first, because we're really excited about this one coming up in April, and it's April 14th through the 16th, and we're calling it Experience the Rockies with New Beginnings. And I got to do something here because I live in a beautiful location. If I can figure out how to spin it around, and if I can't, here we go. If you look out there, you can kind of see the Rocky Mountains from the porch of my parents' house. And the Rocky Mountains are absolutely stunning this time of the year. And they're even stunnier, in April. And what we're building is we're building a retreat location where it's going to be able to rejuvenate and recharge to begin again. And what we got going on, everything is included in the price: hotel accommodation, transportation, food. We're going to go to the hot springs in Glenwood Springs, where you're going to be able to climb into a hot tub that's naturally heated by the earth. We're going to go on some hikes. We're going to have a very good friend of mine, if he's able to make it, Mr. Spencer Jones with Jones and For Academy. I always say his business name wrong. But he's going to come out potentially with his beautiful wife and lead yoga. And then here's the best part, folks. We got alpine slides. in the mountains, where instead of just a typical slide at a playground, you get on this thing and you can get up to about 40, 45 miles an hour on these things.
Wow.
So that is what we got going on April 14th through the 16th. It's called Rockies with Beginnings. Just look up my name, David Vrablik, and I'm sure Juanita will type that in for us on her page. If you want to DM me and get more information on that, we would love to have you. I know Juanita's got to travel all over from the other side of the world to come out here, but Colorado is very beautiful that time of the year. And then for our Inner Circle group, we're excited to announce that. It's going to be more intimate and more directed, where we're going to teach off of the faith, health, and wealth. How you can begin again from step one, and along the way, create your new beginnings and discovering your authentic self. We're going to bring in guest speakers, potentially maybe Michael Faber, Emilio Roman. We'll have Juanita on a couple times if she's so willing, Jesse Cruz, and all that stuff. And it's $97 a month, and we'll meet on a weekly basis to share our wins, our losses, and if there's something struggling in your life. This group is designed where if anybody becomes judgmental, they're out. We don't allow judgmental minds in our community. We'll give them their money back. We'll tell them, have a good day. You're gone. But when you invest in yourself, this is a community where you can feel safe and share whatever you're struggling with. And either myself, if I don't have the answers, I know a trauma specialist, Miss Krista Fee. She's incredible. She was on our virtual event. But that's what comes with that Inner Circle group. And then you'll get a copy of our ebook for free once you sign up for the first month, that has stress, anxiety, reduced methods that I've come up with over the years. So if you want to join up with us on that, we'd love to have you. Again, you can just look me up on direct messenger, and we can have a Zoom meeting like this, and we'll get you set up.
I love it. I love it. And, I'm South African, and we are into mountains and we are into hiking. So I'm going to do my best to be at your April event. My goodness, that would be a dream come true, to share all of those experiences with you. Yeah. Also the group, thank you. That would be amazing. I would love to serve, and help. And I love what you said. The moment someone becomes judgmental, they need to move on. I think we need more of that in our society, because I think agree. Some groups, they allow too much going on, and people get hurt.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen with New Beginnings. Myself or my business partner, Nathan, who's an admin on the group, if we see something, we'll block them from the group right away, because at New Beginnings, you have the divine right to be able to begin again. How are you going to do that if you got that negative toxicity within our group? That's just not going to fly with us. We'll still support and love that individual outside of the group, and they'll have to go through a process if we readmit them back into the group. But it's all about protecting our people. It's about creating that sense of safety, that safety of love and support. And we love hearing about what people got going on within their communities, and to support New Beginnings, because, New Beginnings, we want to be around after my time is done. And we wanted to, I have a very good friend, Mr. Michael Faber, that says, Tony who? I don't know if everybody knows Tony Robbins, but someday we want to be able to go, Tony who? We'd rather go see David Vrablik and the New Beginnings family.
Yeah. And then it's very unique how you run your group, and that is the way it's supposed to be, because it's not just a beginning, it's a new beginning. It's fresh and it's wonderful and it's exciting. Now you've got these events coming up, you've got your group, you're on the go. What is next for you personally or professionally? What are you looking at for the next few weeks?
The next few weeks, we're gearing up for a speaker competition that Nathan and I'll be attending in February down in San Antonio, Texas, with Jesse Cruz and the Merge Worldwide family. This will be the second time that I participate in that. So it'd be nice coming back as a veteran and not as a newbie. So we're excited for that. We're gearing up for the holidays like everybody is. We're about 2.5 weeks from Christmas, and then 3.5 weeks from New Year's. And then we're looking at potentially either bringing back the virtual event that we did last month, either in January or March. We haven't officially decided on that yet. We just got to see where timing falls, because we got a lot of things going on in January with working on the chapter with Emilio and Daniela. I'm also getting information on about potentially writing a whole book. So looking into that, and just continue on, building, the community and just loving and supporting where we can.
Amazing stuff. I'm so excited. And I know that we as the Meticulous Moments community, we are going to follow you. We're going to network with you. We're going to cheer you on because
Appreciate
that's what family does. And we're going to pray for you. Most importantly, that God will always guide you. And you have divine favor, my brother. And God is with you.
Thank you, sister. I really appreciate that. And I can't thank you enough for this amazing opportunity. I think it was that same day after I finished Danielle and Emilio's show, you and I started talking about this. So I really appreciate the opportunity to come on your show and, spread the message of what we do and support you and what you do, because that's what it's all about. And we thank you humbly and eternally for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your kind words. It really speaks to my heart and my mind and my spirit. And I would just like to ask you, do you have any final words for the audience, words of wisdom that you want to leave them with?
What are you going to do when life knocks you down? Are you going to stay down? Or are you going to get back up? Are you going to deny the world to hear your beautiful story? Or are you going to get back up and get back in the game? Are you going to begin again? Are you going to write that chapter that defines your life? Are you stuck in a rut? Are you ready to change that rut? If you've said yes to any of these questions, it's time to get working. It's time to live your life on your terms. It's time to push away those negative naysayers and to trust that inner voice. At the end of the day, folks, the only person that can stop you from chasing after your dreams is not those in your life. It's you. Your story is powerful. Your message is powerful. And we want to cheer you on. I want to see people from Juanita's group. I'll be a cheerleader. I'm not a good cheerleader, but I'll get the pom-poms, I'll do the dance, and I'll get you guys going, and we'll have some fun with that. But are you going to get back up? The choice is yours.
Beautiful.
Let's go after it.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. I know there's someone that's going to watch this interview that has to hear that message. Someone that's going to feel ignited again and passionate about life again. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the Meticulous Moments audience for your time, your expertise, your wisdom, your knowledge, for bringing that breath of fresh air. And I know, audience, here we go. This was a wonderful session. You know what to do. Follow David, network with him, cheer him on, and we'll see you in the next session. Goodbye.
Take care, everybody. Merry Christmas.